Hi everybody. A bit of sad news to begin with. I won't be making balloon animals. So just to get a bit of energy in the room to start with, do a little bit of an icebreaker, right? This is a brand new talk. This is a brand new thing. I don't know if it's going to work, right? But I run Inbox Zero, right? And I know there's a lot of marketers, hopefully in here, that have fucking way too many unread emails in their inbox right now. So hands up if you think you have the most unread messages on your phone right now. Wow, far out. This guy was first in the black polo. How many do you reckon you got? Far out. Can anybody beat 5,000 something or other? Oh, here we go, lady in the top there. Get out. Can anybody beat 10,000 plus? Oh, we've got two more here. 17,000. Can you beat 17,000? 37,000. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. Rachel in the Scamp and Do top down here. Okay, cool. If anyone doesn't have anxiety right now, you fucking do, right? Okay. So, make sure I've got the right button. So, thanks very much. Today, I'm going to cover off who I am, how to do video, right? I'm going to then break into personal branding. And actually, Rachel, first thing she said up to me, oh, I've been following you for a year now. And I was like, wow, that's a little bit weird. But it's actually why I'm here, right? So it totally works. A few storytelling tips, and really I want to break out the Q&A because it's a good sized group for me to actually answer a bunch of questions. So if you've got questions, shout them out at the end and we'll see what we can do. So who am I? That's me, strong look, right? Hat, glasses, beard. Like Nick said, I'm a creative director for Reflect Digital. I've been with them for about a year, but I've been a creative director in and out probably for the last 10 plus years. And my superpower is seeing what's not there. Right? And I don't mean like I see dead people. I mean what I'm able to do is, like, if you were to give me an objective, if a business had a challenge that needs to overcome, things start just dropping into my head. I have quite strong kinesthesia, I think the word is, being able to picture stuff in my head really well. I can picture someone else picturing an apple. I think we spoke about this previously in a different place. I create roughly 1,000 pieces of visual content a year with the help of my head of video over there, Chris. Everyone say hi, Chris. He's obviously filming the talk today, which you'll be able to watch later. But working for Reflect, we're a digital agency that focuses on behavioral science to help put impact into our clients. But I'm able to translate data into creative. No longer just go out, get the crayons out and start making loads of stuff. I actually use data to create whatever I need to do to achieve your objectives, which then helps make impact for clients. But fundamentally, one of my key things that's really close to my heart is that I'm a men's mental health advocate, or just mental health advocate as a whole. A very quick story. I ran my own agency, Capital Content, for 7 or 8 years. Back end of 2022, I had a mental health breakdown. I then went to the GP. They said, you're depressed. So I started to medicate with sertraline, and now on antidepressants, and have been for the past year. And what happened is that I kind of came out of this mist and realized that running the business gave me depression. So I closed the business, tried to get another job that we were talking about earlier, and then went to work for Reflect Digital. And now, a year on, probably a year and a bit on from being on antidepressants, I'm happy being happy. I'm kind of the best version of myself right now. And what I want to do is help get rid of that stigma about saying everything that I've just said, saying the word antidepressant and saying the word depression and closing a business. Because we have trouble, men specifically have trouble, but really we need to kind of get rid of that stigma. Anyway, how to do video. The reason I put do video, right, is a lot of people go, I've got an SEO strategy, I've got a website strategy, I've got a paid PPC strategy, I've got a video camera. And that's as far as their video content strategy goes, right? And they'll just go and make a video, it's shit, it doesn't work, we'll do it later. And there may be marketers in the room, I might be teaching to suck eggs, but I just want to make sure that I cover off everything that I know. And if there's anything that you don't know or you do know, apologies. Anyway, so why video, just to begin with, right? It allows you to translate complex things that are simple. You guys might have really complex technical products. If you then need to talk about it in a 3-minute spiel, like an elevator pitch, you could probably get that way simpler without even trying too hard. So as soon as that red light comes on in the camera, you can translate that to someone that doesn't know about your product at all. The algos love it. You know that LinkedIn have added the video tab now on the mobile device. So they're going to be pushing organic reach on LinkedIn with the portrait video. And then it works across all platforms. If you make one video, don't do that, but if you make one video, you can put it across LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, if kids still do Snapchat. There are no kids in here. And then it can also be engaging and episodical, right? And actually, it's only you guys that make it engaging and episodical. So you have the ability to be engaging and episodical. It's not always. But really what I mean by that is that, classic people buy from people. I like to say humans buy from humans because I am part of the Human First Collective. It's engaging. People want to see themselves, the mirror strategy, see themselves in the video, so therefore they engage with it. But episodical, that's kind of like this storytelling strategy where, if you were to go to an event like today and make like a little video, which we are, if it was a 2-day event, I wouldn't make one video across a 2-day event. I would actually make 2 videos because I can post, let's say on Monday, I can post, hey, I'm here at day 1. And then on Wednesday, hey, I was there at day 2 as well. And it's what I call a contact moment. It's the excuse to go back out over social with another piece of content. So episodical, you get to take people through a journey. You do it with email, right? You have email storyboarding, whatever it is. Same with video, take them on a journey, right? Okay, so has anyone seen me talk, apart from Penny and Joe, and Market Meetup before? I've done, yes, lovely. I've done about 20, I think, including during COVID, pre and post. And a lot of it is kind of based around this. So I'm not going to go into it too much. I'll just cover the top of it. But if you want to go and watch any of the others on the Market Meetup website, you can see me kind of fully go into the how to build a video content strategy, how I build it anyway. Like I said, a lot of people have an email strategy and they know SEO strategy, but they don't necessarily have a video content strategy. They'll just go out and make all these assets. The way I do it is allows you to create content with purpose. Ooh. Well, what we're looking at here is 3 pillars, right? Channel, season, and episode based on a TV network strategy. So you think of yourself like the BBC. The BBC have like BBC One and BBC Two, right? You have different programming on BBC One than you would have on BBC Two. So therefore you have different audiences. I think from a channel perspective, for a business, imagine you are xyzbusiness.tv. The channels are your business objectives. If you want to raise brand awareness or if you want to sell more product, that's your BBC Ones and BBC Twos, right? And you create video content specifically for that channel or for that business objective. Then within that channel, you have a season of episodes, right? You will have a group of videos that all relate to each other that go up into a business objective or a channel. And then obviously an episode. So to give you an example, you might have an objective. If you can look on one of the screens that are in this building. There's more screens in this room, I think, than there are people. But as a channel, you might say, you want to show people how easy it is to work with you, right? Then within that channel, you have a season of FAQs. So that's a great tip. If you want to go and create content, just do your FAQs. That's a great way to start, especially for sales and stuff. And then within FAQs, one of those episodes would be that it's easy to pay on your website using Apple Pay. So instead of going out and just making a video about you can use Apple Pay on my website, now that rolls up into a season of videos which then contributes towards a business objective. And it gives you that structure. You no longer go out and make one video, you go out and make 10 videos that day, and therefore then you've got a full season that runs into an objective. That all makes sense? I've really rushed through it. I do, I think, a whole 20-minute talk just on that. So go and look at the archive on the Market Meetup. But that is the best way to do it. And sometimes you need a CFO's buy-in, or someone that holds the purse strings, and they might understand all that fluffy marketing stuff that we love to do, right? Just go fucking spend all the budget. What they do understand is how a TV network works. You say, well, look, I've got this BBC One and BBC Two and all these seasons, and then they think you're going out and doing documentaries and stuff. So TV network strategy, right? Chaos. That is a classic word that we all use in marketing, right? So this is a framework. I love acronyms. Or initializations, whatever you want to call this one. I love acronyms. This is one that I've put together over the last few years in the chaos that has been my life. Again, I might teach you things that you already know, but really I've got a couple of frameworks that we go through to make sure that you don't make any mistakes, don't miss anything when going out to create video content. So, CTA, help, audience, objective, strategy. It's not in any particular order because hakios doesn't really roll off the tongue very well. Chaos is a little bit easier to remember, right? CTAs, again, your marketer's right. I'm not going to, dumb it down for you. You know what CTAs are. But 3 things that I like to make sure that people think about are types, placement, and psychological considerations. So types, direct versus indirect, click here versus find out more. Urgency-based, offer runs out tomorrow. And value-orientated, 20% off, right? Super simple. Placement, this is if we think about video now in terms of start, mid-roll, and end. I'm going to be honest with you, no one's going to get to the end of your video, regardless of how good you think it is, right? A lot of people, 99% of people will put an end slide with their web address. I'll do it for next video, right? And I'm sure people will get to the end of it, which we talk about attention span in a minute. But yes, do it, no one's going to see it, right? I think if you start with a CTA saying click here to find out more, you're going to lose people straight away. The first 5 seconds super important. And if you start with a sales message, you've lost them, right? They can see right through you. They can call you bullshit out. So mid-roll, you need to be confident to deliver a mid-roll CTA. So if there was a 2-minute video at 60 seconds, cut to an advert, or, oh, by the way, we're sponsored by, whatever it might be. The sponsors, for example, that is a mid-roll CTA. Or when you pulled in Val, that's a mid-roll CTA, right? That's allowing an advert to come mid-show. If you wait till the very end, everyone will be leaving eating pizza, right? And then psychological considerations. Attention span. You really got to know your audience here. You've got to know whether the video that you're putting in front of your audience resonates with the audience enough for them to watch it all. So make sure where the start, middle, and end, if you think they are going to get to the end and they'll get turned off by a sales message at the front, sweet man, just put it at the end. Viewer intent, where are you going to send them? I'll go about KPIs, etc. later. And then engagement triggers. That's like, click here, arrows, all that kind of stuff, right? You know when you do that TikTok stuff and it's embarrassing. I've got loads of those videos, but like no logos above it. Fuck, I don't know, right idiot. Okay, H for help. So you've got 3 options. Excuse me. I smashed 2 slices of pizza and now I have to swallow it down by a Diet Coke. Kind of cancels it out, right? It's like putting hazards on when you put it out in front of someone. So you've got 3 options, right? Agency, freelancer, and in-house. Agency, Reflect Digital. No, if agency pros and cons are, they are more expensive. But they have the processes in place. They can cross-pollinate the industries around getting ideas to different clients. They can scale with you. They'll also be able to look at the mix of marcoms. So SEO as well as video, as well as paid, blah, blah, blah. Pros and cons of freelancer is that they will be a lot cheaper. But 9 times out of 10, they're not there for the strategy, right? They're only really there to press the buttons. So you need to have someone that is a creative and a strategist, as well as a producer probably on site as well, or a director, whatever it might be. And then in-house. Yes, it's great to have someone in-house, right? Because you can instill your values in them. They become like the employee that you want them to be. But the infrastructure costs are often overlooked. I mean, if you want a good mid-weight videographer, you're looking at 40k plus a year at least. Then there's 3k for a lappy, 2k for a camera, 3k on lenses, 400 quid a month on licensing, and that's just to be one person in one place at a time. Don't do that. Like, if you think that's going to be 80k a year to be able to make 2 videos a week, it's not a great investment versus the value and the camaraderie around being in the business. So pros and cons for all of them. But definitely cool. So the objective, again, KPIs. As marketers, I hate KPIs, right? A good one to get fucking stakeholder buy-in is website conversion, right? What we do is we create content. Again, I'll explain this later. We create content with heroes and seasons, right? A hero video is 60 plus seconds, and a season is 4 times sub 60-second videos. And often what we do is we have like the hero video here, and then out of that we'll cut 4 little short videos out of it. So then we'll have the hero video on the website and then use 4 short videos as trailers, 1 a week for the next 4 weeks to get people onto the website. And then let the website convert, and whoever manages the website, that's their problem, right? Sweet. You want to manage that content. So website conversion or eyeballs, you want to, no one's going to watch a 4-minute video on LinkedIn, right? No one cares. But they will watch a 15-second snippet, what I call Skittles. There's loads of acronyms and loads of names. This is all being recorded, don't worry. I'm speaking at 100 miles an hour. Skittles, social cut down, thought leadership, SCTL. 15-second, 9x16, one-liner from a hero video is basically what it is. Skittle sounds easier. Ugh. We all know the funnel, right? But again, if you want stakeholder buying, you want to say all these big marketing buzzwords. You're like, oh yeah, funnel. But what you can do with video content in particular, you can put video content at every stage of the funnel, right? You can, identifying their needs, you can have off-topic podcasts, and I'll talk about this later. That's a biggie. Researching their options, you can have product videos. Buying and inquiring, you can create case studies. Don't create case studies. And, I know it's difficult, but I would make stories. Actually, I'll talk about it later, don't worry. And then retention and advocacy, this is what's going to set you apart, is your CEO's journey or your leadership's journey or a personal brand's journey within the business. So yeah, you can chuck content in at any stage of the funnel. You want to take a picture of that? Go on. Cool. And then, yeah, and then lastly, strategy, right? This is everything that I've just spoken about and more. So the TV network strategy, the chaos framework, combined with email strategy, right? You've got an email database of, I don't know, however many hundreds. Throw, all these guys say put plus video in your subject line. I think it increases like 19% click-through rate because people want to watch video, right? Another trick is what I used to do is take a screenshot of the video halfway played through with the play button in the middle and put that in the email, and then people go, oh, there's a video in the email. Sucker! You get... you create a hyperlink from that PNG that takes you to then the actual video itself, right? So, don't tell anybody. Then with YouTube, second biggest search engine, right? We all know that. But the SEO copywriting strategy that you have for your website and your blogs, apply that to your YouTube descriptions. No one's doing that. God, like that is huge. Oh, funnel, gross. And then blog to video conversion. I'm going to tell you a secret. No one's reading your blogs. All right? Blogs are for bots. If someone posts a blog on Instagram, you're gone. And I think what you should be doing is whoever wrote that blog should read the blog to camera, and you put that at the top of the blog page. So you've got the 2 to 3 minute video of someone actually doing the blog if you really want to be a thought leader in that industry. And then you've got a whole bunch of words for the bots, right? So I think no one cares about your blog. But it's good to get, to get your SEO conversion, right? Okay, speed. This is another acronym. I love it, right? So this is how I create content, actually on the day. We've done all the strategy stuff, right? We've done, what to do with terms of words. Strategize, produce, edit again, deliver. This is in order. I can't believe I managed to get this one. So strategize, everything we've just spoken about. Then produce. This is about getting the person, getting the camera, getting the audio right. What's in the background? Where are you? Is it sunny? It's never sunny. Then you want to go and edit it, right? You want to make sure that you know what content you want to create. But you then want to send that video to somebody who is not a stakeholder, not a part of your department. You want to send that video to somebody that is effectively you're an audience member, right? You want to be able to, for them to understand that video. You got blinkers on, you know all these buzzwords, but are you saying too many buzzwords? Does someone in finance understand about this product video? Do they get it, right? So then you need to edit it again because you'll never get it right first time. And then you need to deliver it. Is it going to be 1 by 1, 9 by 16, 16 by 9, 4 by 5? Is it going to be 4K? Do you need to have 5 meg bit rate, whatever it's called? Fuck, there's so many things. Are you going to send it via WeTransfer? Are you going to give it to somebody else to post? How are you going to transfer it to them? Don't send it via WhatsApp or Slack because it might compress it. Make sure you use all those sorts of things. Now, I've raced through this. I've got like a 15-page PDF that nobody reads. that kind of goes into depth in any of these. But this is just to make sure, off the top of your head, if you're creating content, if you're a one-person marketing department, you need to know that you need to strategize first, which is everything I've spoken about, and then you produce, edit again, deliver. Super easy, right? He says. Okay, so that's all video content, right? Does anyone have any very quick questions about video, or do you want to leave it to the end? Good. You got no chance getting your questions in so far. So the importance of personal branding. Now, I'm actually here because of the Marketing Meetup. Obviously, I'll explain in a minute. And then the current job that I have at the moment, is because of the Marketing Meetup. So I spoke at a Marketing Meetup for London Tech Week about 7 years ago, and I met Becky Sims, who's the CEO of Really Fit Digital. And over the last 7 years, she was always kind of this founder at the end of a phone. And then when I ended up getting the job, I rang up Becky and she was like, yeah, man, come on through. And that was basically on personal brand and public speaking. So it's so important. I don't think many people do. I think it's only like 2% or 5% of people on LinkedIn are creating content. So you really can set yourself apart. Why personal brand? People buy from people, right? We all know that. Support. So this is actually a big one, and this is kind of the conversation that we were having earlier. I closed the business. I then thought, yeah, man, I could get a job well easy, right? I've got a really strong personal brand. I really am like top of my game. However, if I can go at squeaky bum time, it took me 6 months, and even then it was because of knowing Becky anyway. However, I had loads of support. There were like hundreds, if not thousands of people engaging or sharing with my content because they had invested in me and my personal brand emotively. So they were really rooting for me to try and get a job. And at the peak, I was getting like 100,000 views a week just on content, on just one single image going, shit, man, I'm struggling or whatever. So there's your own little community, the support that you get is huge. Opportunities. So in the last 5 or 6 years, I probably generated 750K's worth of revenue, not just leads, but revenue, exclusively from being proactive on LinkedIn. I don't sell, I don't go, hey, buy my product. It's always a personal brand element. I've spoken at countless public speaking gigs. I've been on podcasting, the whole lot, right? So opportunities wise, shit, man, it's big. It's well cringy, right? The first post, if you don't do it now, you're gonna hate it. But get past that. No one cares about your post any more than you do. Whatever the phrase is, right? And then I'm positioning myself as an industry leader. I've learned all this on the streets, right? Don't have any education. I left school at 16, and I've just learned it over the past 25 years. And I'm positioning myself, because I say it loud enough with confidence, people believe me, right? I'm positioning myself as an industry leader, which then helps opportunities and getting that extra support. So what I will do with this 30-minute odd talk, I will cut that up into lots of little chunks, right? And I'll post that one a week for like the next 6 weeks. And what that does, it makes me look like I'm a public speaker and know what I'm going on about. Like, fuck off, Gary V. It's all about Gary G, right? Hey! Cool. So it's about keeping that plate spinning, right? It's about how people talk about you when you're not in the room. It's like the digital version of dressing for the job that you want, not for the job that you have. This is a person I really admire. I don't know if you know Ash Jones from Great Influence, the big player on the market. Ex-Social Chain, really great guy. I've been on a couple of talks with him, and I've also watched a couple of talks with him. And when creating content, it's really difficult, right? It's like, what do I talk about? A great tip from him was think of 3 things that you can talk about forever, and what you want to be known for, right? I love the sound of my own voice, so I can talk forever, right? For me, the 3 things are video content specifically, shit marketing, and men's mental health, right? And that's what I want to be known for. So all of those, I can talk about all of those forever. That helps me generate content every day. If you guys go and think about what you want to create, it needs to be career adjacent, and personal. People forget the personal side of personal brand. Sometimes people struggle to write personal. You don't have to share personal, but the 3 things are career adjacent, and personal. Okay, so I find it really easy. This is a QR code if you want to scan it. I find it really easy to write content. If you get writer's block, or if you can't be asked, behind this link here are 50 Kickstarters to be able to write more content. If you were to post once a week, which is totally fine, and I'll explain about that in a minute, that is a year's worth of content right there. Give me a follow while you're there as well. CTA. But yeah, there'll be stuff like insert the blank or dispel a myth, whatever it is. Chuck those into ChatGPT, give it your tone of voice prompt. Bosh, there's a year's worth of content. All right? I was got rid of favorite social media managers' jobs there for a minute. So yeah, this is great. It's on my LinkedIn page. Obviously, give me a follow as well. I'll give it one more second. Good. So, like I said, about once a week. It's about. Sorry, do you want to go back one more time? Did you get it? Okay, cool. I'm trying to be positively lovely. So consistently, not constantly. So I post every day. I have done for like 6 or 7 years, right? But I find it easy. It's not about constantly. People can get pissed with me and just constantly rabbiting on. But it's about consistency. If you only want to do once a week, sweet, that's absolutely fine. But make sure you do it once a week. If you do it Monday, 3 p.m., stick with that Monday, 3 p.m. Don't forget about it for 3 weeks. I have this thing called good/bad hair days. So if you've written a good post, write another one 10 minutes later. You can schedule it for Wednesday or for next week or whatever. But if you write a shit post, don't write another one. So go start tomorrow, right? But if you only want to do once a week, because it is a bit cringy to start with if you don't really like it, then once a week is fine. Once a fortnight is fine, as long as you do it once a fortnight. Okay, tips for good storytelling. We're getting towards the end now. Few, they say. Okay, so we're going to try and combine all that video content stuff and personal branding to try and tell stories, because we're all about the. Does everyone know what I mean by like the story? What's it called? The story framework. You kind of know. So it's kind of like most movies follow it. So you've got the hero. The hero has a challenge. Then a sidekick or support comes along and tries to help them achieve that challenge. They then go through dilemma, and it turns out to be a comedy or a tragedy. Your audience is the hero. You are the sidekick or the support person that comes in and tries to help with their challenge. That's how you should present on the front page of your homepage, really. But other tips, drugs. I know, right? So how many marketing presentations have you been to that says the word drugs, right? So I don't mean like take drugs. I mean, I'm probably a creative because I smoked way too much weed when I was younger. I'll be honest. But there's two statements here, right? If I say to you drugs are dangerous, you are only using language processing and comprehension. You might remember it, cool, but they're the only two kind of psychological behaviors that you're using. If I said Gary was a 40-year-old guy and he died of a broken heart because he started cocaine through friends and he got addicted, started gambling, his wife left him, and he ended up killing himself because of a broken heart. Fucking hell. At that point, I'm generating emotion, images in your head, sensations, and content planning. You will remember that story of Gary dying of a broken heart more so than drugs are dangerous. So do think about the story of it all. You know, don't just post a bottle of Coke. Post about a little boy saving his money on a paper round to buy his first bottle of Coke. That's a nicer story. I probably should live with that. Yeah, drugs. Okay. Tip number 2, sex. And really what... Oh no, let me go back one, sorry. What I mean by that is, and actually if anybody saw my LinkedIn post today, I kind of nodded it towards then. It really, what you want to look at is that people constantly talk about themselves in marketing, right? Me, this is my product, this is what I'm doing. If you were on a date and you were talking about yourself the whole time, you're not going to get laid, right? What you need to do is be asking questions, get your audience to talk. Create content that is already in their hands, excuse me, that they are already consuming, and then put your adverts in there. If your audience are into golf, right, make a case study of your product manager and the clients walking around a golf course doing a free ball competition, but talking about that particular case study. What that will do is that person is into golf. So they're going to watch that video predominantly for the golf, but they also know the business, right? So yes, don't stop talking about yourself if you want to get laid, right? Then the perfect mix for engagement. We all have, we're getting towards the end now, we all have a mixture of, we all have two operating systems in our mind, right? The rational and the emotional. You need to have both if you want to really connect with somebody from an engagement perspective, right? A lot of people go down the rational route, but they don't think about the emotional side of it all. Rational would be, from an about us perspective, would be, hey, we are XYZ Limited, we do this product and we solve this problem, this is how you can get in touch, right? Super rational. And emotional is, hi, I'm Gary, I am the managing director of XYZ agency. I started 20 years ago on a laptop, and I had this vision of being able to support small to medium businesses. And over the course of 5 to 10 years, I've been able to really bring in the impact of clients and look after charities and so on and so forth. So that's the emotional side of it, right? I've kind of tried to pluck on the heartstrings. If you can combine these two, powerful, right? But really what I would do is, if you're going to make an about us video for your business, make two. Make the rational one, but then also make the emotional one as well. Okay, glossy versus raw. So we got this client, right, that is like a student accommodation client, and they've got two audiences, right? They've got students that live in the accommodation, and then they've got the parents who pay for the accommodation. So what we need to do is we need to create raw content, mobile phone 9x16 content for the kids, because they're going to consume it on TikTok and they'll engage with it if it's shot on a mobile phone, because they're desensitized to the glossy stuff. But then the boomers, they will want to see editorial, glossy, well-invested video content. So we're making the same video glossy. It might take a full day, 2 4K cameras, get some drones out, whatever it might be. But then with the raw, I'll just strap a mobile phone to the top of the camera. It's the same video, but we're just shooting on a mobile phone, right? So you really need to have a mixture of glossy versus raw. This is great for Instagram. Push that culture stuff on Insta. Don't post blogs on Insta, no one cared. Excuse me. Okay, cool. GGGBT. I briefly spoke about it before, but I have a custom GPT. Who uses ChatGPT on a regular basis right now? Good, 60, 70%. It's surprising. There's not, this is a good crowd. There's not a lot of people using it a lot. So if you are, you're ahead of the game. I use it as like a second me. Can you believe the second me? Far out. What I do, already. Fuck. All right, Elon, can I have one of your 30 grand bots, please, mate? Yes, what I've done is I've taught it my tone of voice. So I've uploaded a whole bunch of LinkedIn posts, any videos that I've been in. I'll upload this talk as well. So it's got all my knowledge that I'll never be able to recall at an instant notice. And then the way I talk, I'm a little bit of a potty mouth, but I try to keep the energy in the room. And I can say to it, hey, write me a post about public speaking. Gosh, it will give me the text, and I'll use that as a foundation to then write content. Because sometimes I'm hungover and I can't be asked to write. So I'll get GPT to do it for me. It's really good. Hero, season, skittle. This is how the structured video content, I mentioned it before. So a hero video is 60 plus seconds. A season is 4 times sub 60-second videos cut from that hero. And then a skittle is each individual video. So social, cut down, thought leadership. These are the only videos you should be creating. A skittle, a season of, or a hero. Okay, this is the last slide, right? No one cares about your podcast. What I mean by that is anyone here have a podcast? Okay, cool. A couple of people, great. Unless you're Joe Rogan, no one's going to listen, right? You might have 300 listeners at a max. It might be really good. Do you have any listeners? No, it's fairly new. Okay, cool, good. Well, that's a good excuse. Okay, great. That's good. That's step one. Yeah. I'll be honest, no one cares about it. No. What I mean is, don't start a podcast for the listeners, right? I think, like I said, unless you're Joe Rogan, you're not going to get the listeners. What you should be doing, for 2 reasons, is creating video content off the back of it. Yes, you've got 2 microphones, but let's shoot it, right? You get that half-hour podcast on video. Great. Let's put that 30-minute video on YouTube. Let's transcribe it and turn it into a blog. And let's cut that blog up into 30 tweets. Let's export the audio, put that on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple. Let's cut 10 short videos out of that hero video as well. So straight off the bat, from a 30-minute sesh, you've created 30 pieces of content that can go across all platforms. And you'll get way more reach. You get way more listens, way more views. You position yourself as a thought leader, but don't think about it as the podcast it is the hero piece of content, because no one's really going to listen to it. Unless you make content for your audience. And this is what I mean about off-topic podcasts. So what you could do, regardless of what industry you are, what product you sell, you could make a men's mental health podcast, right? You get a bunch of men in the room talking about men's mental health. Let's say a hairdresser does it, right? And they make a men's mental health podcast. I, before that, would not follow that hairdresser, right? Why would I follow that, right? But if they had a men's mental health podcast, I'd probably follow it. So then, therefore, they're always in the back of my mind if ever I need a hairdresser, or if I engage with that content that then goes into other people's feeds. But it's the toughest sell. Like, imagine going to your CFO and say, I want to talk about something that's not our product. They're going to go, yeah, fucked. So it's so powerful. No one's doing it. If you do it, you're going to win. But it's such a tough sell internally anyway. The other reason is a sales element, and this is really strong. So if I was to ring up Rachel and her business and say, hey, I want to make your video content, you're just going to laugh at me and put the phone down. If I rang you up and said, hey, do you want to be in my podcast? You're probably like, yeah, man, let's do it. As long as I don't need to leave my house. What you want to do is write down your top 10 prospects. Ring them up and say, do you want to be in my podcast? And they will obviously bite your arm off. And then all of a sudden, you've got your top 10 prospects in the same room as you, talking about them and their industry. You create content for yourself, positioned with them. You give them exclusive content so they can post it to their platforms as well. But fundamentally, you're having a great conversation with your prospects without having to pick up the phone and try and ring and cold call, because that's not going to work. So top 10 prospects, get them on a podcast. That is a great way of starting a relationship. You'll get 30 listeners, but you might win a 300K contract, right? Cool. Phew. Recap. So build a strategy, don't just have a camera, right? Video content is big. It has been big for years, but very few people have a video content strategy. Think about chaos and speed. I mean, we have it in our industry anyway, right? But these are acronyms. Integrate it with the rest of your marcoms. Staff advocacy. I've not really talked too much about this, but this is personal branding. You might be one-person bands or one-person marketing departments. You might be small to large businesses as well, right? Now, I think it was Cisco who are training 80,000 of their global workforce to have stronger personal brands. And imagine, even if 10% of those people actually succeeded and kept on being good at their personal brand, the amount of free organic reach and thought leadership and positioning in the market they're going to get. Imagine if just your SLT right now were personal brands within the business, and the amount of organic reach you get versus how big your email database is, or how much reach you get on your LinkedIn business page, which is probably fuck all, right? So think about supporting your SLT or any other members, because it works well for Reflect. I've got a strong personal brand, so does Becky, the CEO. It works really well for us. And then classic cliche, definitely end the presentation with people buy from people, right? Thanks very much. That's it. Cool.
Perfect. Now, I don't know whether to try and match that energy or to try and bring us all down slightly. Anyone got any? I've got time for a couple of questions. Anyone got Bernie? Go.
Yes.
I don't know much about your background and stuff, and my question is, I'm aspiring to become a creative director one day.
Yeah.
I currently do mostly media production and a little bit of social media management. But what would you say the stepping stone to get to the point of becoming a creative director?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I am quite old. So it's taken me a while, right? And I actually had a change in career. I was a salesperson up until about 30, large global corporate sales. I worked for Vodafone and dealt with WPP, Lehman Brothers, when they're about HSBC. So I was selling 10 to 40 million pound mobile phone contracts. But then I knew, because I was a stoner back in college, that I was actually creative, and that's what I wanted to do. I hated selling mobile phones. So actually for me, it was about sidestepping and understanding that I might take a cut in pay or might take a cut in responsibility to be able to gain that experience. I set myself when I was 27, 28, this BHAG, right? A big, hairy, audacious goal, so corporate. And what I did was, at the time I was in sales and I wanted to be a leader in a creative organization. And I planned out what I wanted to do over the next 10 years to try and achieve that. And part of it was moving from sales into sales and marketing, and then into marketing. And I actually went and moved to New Zealand for 10 years to try and get international business experience as well. So for me, it's actually setting that massive goal that you feel is unobtainable, but then you're always striving towards that goal, and actually physically writing down on a bit of paper those steps. I need to be a marketing manager by the time I'm, a couple of years later, and then a marketing director. And then actually you might want to do some charity stuff. Like, if you haven't got experience, it's tough to get experience. So if you can go and ring up the nearest charity and say, look, I want to be a creative director on your next campaign, let me shadow you or let me help with ideas. Yeah, a bunch of ideas there, but you're more than welcome to drop me a line as well, and I'll help out. I think the lady behind, yes. Yes. Do you mean like educating on products, or you're what? Sorry. Yeah, it's funny because it's not funny. I think. Well, I think, yeah, there needs to be an element. I do say, look, don't talk about yourself, don't sell products, but there needs to be an element, right? I'm trying to, mass market storytelling, but there does need to be an element of this is what we do. You got to think about what the objections are. So rather than go, this is what we do, it's more about what's stopping people from buying from you. And it might be, it might be the onboarding process. So actually make a video about the onboarding process rather than the product itself. I think it's, imagine if someone was to try and sell you a product, with a sort of straight video, and that whole video, it's like, oh shit, I don't know if I need that whole SaaS product. I think you only want that certain section, only one section will help trigger the discussion around sales. So for me, I would, look at your sales objections. What your salespeople, it might just be yourself, right? What your clients are or prospects are going, oh no, thanks very much. You want to create content to stop getting to that point. You don't want them to think about an objection. They've already seen that video to educate themselves. So that might be the case, right? What type of business is it? Like, I know it's service-based, so what is the product? Oh yes. So what would you say is the first objection around branding? I'll probably know what it is. Yeah. Yeah. So I would probably go, rather than this is what it is, I would go, ask a question, a post on LinkedIn. What is a brand? Is it this set of logos? Is it like an email signature, a logo, a blah, blah, blah? Or is it a boilerplate, a strategy, color palette, all of that kind of stuff? And that starts the conversation. And then depending on what comments are on that post, then start making content off the back of that. Definitely make this is what we do videos. Don't get me wrong, they absolutely do work. But your competitors are doing that. So if you want to, operate in a market that doesn't exist, which is where you guarantee success, you make videos that other people aren't making. But it's a tougher sell, right? To say to people, hey, well, let's make a men's mental health podcast when, you sell toilet brushes or whatever. Anybody else? Yes, Rachel.
Last one, I'm afraid.
Okay.
So you said in the funnel slide, you don't do case studies.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, I
I
said,
wanted you to elaborate on
yes.
that, please.
So case studies are fake, right? We all know that. We've interviewed our favorite clients. We've done a really good job for them, and then we're going to put them in a PDF or a video, right? We can see through it, and I think the audience can see through it as well, right? What I would do is same sort of thing. You're not going to pick someone that you fucked up with. Yeah, that's the process. Yeah, I would probably do maybe a 30-minute podcast around their industry and the challenges that they have. So, for example, if it's a coffee shop that you helped out, let's talk about how the managing director of the coffee shop is growing their business. Part of it was your marketing support, and And then that becomes just a small part of it, and it's kind of like, you know, it's a subconscious nod towards the sales piece. So I wouldn't necessarily do a case study because it feels disingenuous, it doesn't feel authentic. But if you support them by making a larger piece of content and that smaller piece is about, oh, actually, by the way, we also helped you, that feels more authentic as well, because you're elevating your client and giving them a bit more content as well. So yes, that was the reason.
Can you like make content on that on LinkedIn so I can use it for my clients?
Yes, I will do that. I will do that as tomorrow's post. How about that? I'll say case studies are fake. Yeah.
But hands together one more time for Gary. I think
Thanks so much. Cheers.
that's
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
No worries.